Hi everyone, it's Weather for Weather Geeks time here on the second day of November 2017. This is the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast, and we are one day removed from my annual winter forecast. If you want to read all about the winter forecast, head to ericwfmj.com and read the blog post. If you like watching videos, you can do that too. The short TV version of the winter forecast, 3 minutes long, is linked on my blog. You can also find it on our station weather page, wfmj.com/weather. The 20-minute winter forecast bonanza that I did on Facebook Live last evening is also available to watch in those same places. You can also watch it on our mobile apps as well. All right, here's the nitty-gritty of the forecast in case you missed it. We are going for a winter that will not be as warm as the last couple of years, but not as cold as it was a few years ago when we had back-to-back harsh winters, the worst winters we've had, really, at least temperature-wise, since the late 70s. We had that, a few years ago. We're not expecting that. We're not expecting the warmth that we had last year or the year before. It'll be closer to average, maybe still ending up a little warmer than average. Snowfall amounts, no matter where you are on the map here, all these numbers are just about average. I've got some ranges on here because, we can get some... The precipitation part's, it's a hard forecast. One storm could screw up this forecast, or a bonanza of lake effect could screw it up, especially in our northern viewing area. That's why I have ranges on here. But at the end of the day, this is all pretty much average. We don't expect, or it seems very unlikely, that we're going to have a big year for snowfall. I'm going to do an update to the winter forecast in a month on December 1st. By that point, we should have some more clues, certainly, into the patterns that will be driving the winter across the northern hemisphere. And so we might have to do, a sizable update, or we might just have to make some tweaks. We'll see in about a month. All right, of course, it has not been wintry weather, but wet weather that we've dealt with over the last 24 hours. This was yesterday and into last night. Our 24-hour rainfall totals, half an inch to even 3/4 of an inch or so in much of the valley. It was, pretty much a washout last night. The rain tapered off as expected earlier on today. And it warmed up. As I mentioned, not only did it rain last night, but temperatures kept rising all night. And we woke up this morning with readings in the mid-50s, and it spiked into the mid-60s this afternoon. That felt pretty nice. The forecast is a real up and down one over the next several days. Each warm-up will be followed by a pretty good cool shot as we go through time. All right, easy to find the cold front. You don't have to be a meteorologist to find it on the weather map this evening. Let me pause the animation here. And yeah, it's right here. Real easy to find. By the way, Dallas today got above 90 for the first time on record in November. Hard to believe they've hit 90 in December and January, but not November. But first one on record in November in Dallas. Here comes the cooler air, and we're going to notice the change tomorrow afternoon. It'll still be mild tomorrow morning, but by the afternoon, temperatures will have fallen quite a bit. Ahead of the cold front and along it, we have some showers breaking out. I can't even rule out a couple of rumbles of thunder out here tonight. I can't even totally rule out a rumble of thunder in eastern Ohio and western PA later on tonight. High-res Futurecast shows the wettest part of the night after midnight and in the wee hours of the morning when most of us are sleeping. 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, it should be raining just about everywhere. Now, when most people are getting up and heading off to work and school on a Friday morning, the showers will be tapering off. Put it pretty close to daybreak, and that will lead to a drier midday and afternoon. As far as how much rain to expect here, the RPM, I'm not sure what exactly it's doing here, so we're going to disregard that kind of weird run. But most of the modeling with tonight's rain is around 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit less. So, another pretty good drink of water. We're starting to make up some ground here after a very, very dry stretch earlier on in the autumn season. All right, so the showers push out tomorrow morning. It may take a while for the clouds to thin. In fact, it probably stays pretty cloudy through about mid-afternoon, but just in time for week 1 of high school football playoff action tomorrow evening, the sky should clear pretty nicely. It should be a chilly but dry and pleasant evening. Instead of the 60s like we have this evening, it'll be about 20 degrees colder tomorrow evening. Kickoff temperatures mid-40s heading down into the lower 40s. By the end of week 1 of the playoffs. All right, so mostly clear sky tomorrow evening. Clouds roll in quickly on Saturday. Warm fronts heading our way. Another surge of warmth, but yes, another surge of showers as well. Most of this will be after noon, maybe even after 1 o'clock on Saturday. So if you need to rake leaves or do something outdoors on Saturday, I would recommend trying to get it done before about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Showers push in. They're here off and on maybe into Saturday night. And then during the day on Sunday, we're firmly in the warm sector. We might flirt with 70 Sunday afternoon, even warmer than today. But with another strong cold front out here, we've got a pretty good clash of the air masses setting up. And there's increasing concern for severe weather out here Sunday afternoon and evening, and maybe even a few heavy gusty thunderstorms in our neck of the woods late Sunday night. Low-level jets, a river of fast-moving air, not up at the jet stream level where the airplanes fly, but more at about 5,000 feet, not that far up. Very impressive looking low-level winds here in this purple area. You can see on the legend up here, those are winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, not far above our heads, and so, any heavy showers and storms could try to pull down some of that strong wind. The instability won't be crazy, but it'll be enough that there certainly is a concern for some gusty storms in the afternoon back towards Chicago, St. Louis, maybe Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, South Bend. There won't be much instability left over late at night, but some. And so this is something we'll be keeping an eye on as we get closer to the weekend, the possibility of some gusty storms very early Monday morning. Saturday night into Sunday morning, of course, it is the end of daylight saving time. Standard time resumes at 2 a.m. We go back to 1 a.m. It's a good time to change your smoke and carbon dioxide detector batteries. Always a good time to do that. Well, not only will the sunrises get to be an hour earlier, but the sunsets, of course, are an hour earlier, and this is what a lot of people don't like about the time change. Sunday evening sunset will be at 5:13. This evening's was at 6:16. By the way, the latest sunrises of the entire year will be Saturday. In Youngstown, I believe the sunrise Saturday is at 7:57 a.m. We go back to about 6:58 a.m. Sunday morning. Of course, the sunrises then start getting later again as we go into the winter season. But in standard time, our latest sunrise is at 7:47 a.m., so not as late as at the very end of daylight saving time. Also going to be heading into next week what we call solar winter. It's the darkest 3 months of the year, the 3 months of the year with the least daylight. Of course, 6 weeks before and 6 weeks after the winter solstice, which is around the 21st, 22nd of December. That's the 3 months of the year with the least amount of daylight. I don't mean to end things on a Debbie Downer note. A lot of people don't like the dark weather and the time change and all that. But yeah, all that stuff is coming up. What's coming up tonight on 21 News at 11 is a full update on your 7-day forecast, including the up and down weekend. Stay tuned for more updates as we go towards the weekend on the threat for storms Sunday night into Monday morning. Next week looks chillier, and I'll have more on the longer range in future Weather for Weather Geeks videos. Have a great Thursday night, everyone.